What's up, movie freaks? I'm Phil and Thespian, and we're gonna do a spoiler review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. If you want to see a spoiler-free review, head over to my channel, because we got one up there.
Link in the description. So,
First off, this movie is so much better than the Whedon cut.
so much better.
Leagues better.
Leaps and bounds better.
Justice League's better.
Oh.
So, going into spoilers, I guess,
Yeah.
immediately. I don't know.
If you go watch the video on the Daniel's channel first. Watch the spoiler-free stuff, because we discuss a lot of stuff. So that way you're up to speed.
Yeah.
Because we probably won't be able to repeat everything that we said, because we said a lot. So watch that one first, and then come back and watch the spoiler review.
Yeah, do that. It's probably gonna be shorter anyway. So, but yeah, the plot, while not changing a whole lot, changed a little bit, which I think made it better.
Yeah.
It kind of gave a little bit more depth to Steppenwolf, for one. His whole motivation, I don't think it really changed, but you at least have more idea of why he's there and what he's doing there and everything, which you didn't all from the other one. He was just very bland and boring.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about him, from the Whedon version, other than he was
there.
He's one of Darkseid's men, and he's there for the mother boxes. But this actually gave him some character.
Yeah, he was exiled or something.
Yeah,
he has to conquer worlds for Darkseid. He still has After Earth, a bunch more. I don't remember the specific number, but he still had a bunch more before.
Yeah, it was
I was gonna let
1,000 more worlds or something.
Yeah.
So, but so you understand better his motivation, and
I mean, he's still kind of evil for evil's sake,
right?
But he he has a more human motivation for it,
right?
Which is nice.
Yeah, it's nice actually getting to see Darkseid too.
Yeah, that too, and also that flashback scene where they're talking about the mother box's origins.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the Whedon cut, Steppenwolf was there instead of Darkseid, and Darkseid being there makes more sense.
Yeah.
Why would it be Steppenwolf?
Right. Yep. Yeah, that was so much better. Even though it was still essentially the same scene, it was so much better, and it made so much more sense.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think the only real problem I have with that is that we see Ares almost kill Darkseid, and we've seen Wonder Woman kill Ares, so
right.
I don't know. But I don't know. I didn't think Ares was super recognizable, so
yeah. He kind of did the. That was one point where I was like, I don't know if that part was in the original bit that they filmed or if they did it recently, but it seemed a lot like Thor and Thanos when Ares put the axe into Darkseid.
Yeah.
But it was still cool.
Yeah. That whole scene was a lot cooler. Because, like, the first time in the Whedon cut, it was more, I don't know, like, okay, whatever, I don't really care. But in Snyder cut, I was like, ooh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, it was, like, even though it was just, like, backstory that was kind of, you didn't necessarily need to show. It was like, I'm enjoying watching this, so, like, I don't care.
Right. Yeah.
Also, I really enjoyed that they put in Flash's dad in there. That wasn't in. I don't remember it being in the.
It was in there a little bit, I think. I don't know if it was as much, but I do remember him talking to his dad a little bit, and then at the end, where he's like showing him that he got like an actual job. I remember that too. So I do think that stuff was still in there, because I remember that guy who plays his dad is in Alien Covenant, which came out not too long before that. So I had like seen him fairly recently when Justice League first came out. But
yeah, I don't remember that at all. I'm kind of remembering it now that you're talking about it, but when I was watching the Snyder cut, I didn't remember that at all. I was like, oh, this is new.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's only one part from the Whedon version that I missed in the Snyder cut. There's the one part that I liked enough that I was like, I hope that part is still in there, but I didn't really think that it would be. I thought it was maybe a Whedon bit. The one part that I really like from the Whedon version is when they like are first about to fight Steppenwolf or whatever as a group at that one place where he's interrogating the people, and Flash is which they could use with some better dialogue at that part, but Flash is like freaking out. He's never like fought a bad guy or whatever, and he's kind of asking, or he's telling Batman he doesn't know what to do or whatever, and Batman he just goes, save one person, you'll know from there, just save one person. And I thought that was like a great like moment of like an experienced Batman teaching a brand new inexperienced Flash. I don't know, I like that moment a lot.
Yeah, I like that moment too, but I can understand why it was replaced too, because in that moment like Steppenwolf is torturing people.
Yeah.
And like as superheroes you would want to like jump in immediately so like no one dies. And in that moment they're kind of taking a little too long to but I mean like the rest of them could jump in and then Flash could be like, hey Batman, I'm freaking out right now, and then they could have their own little thing while
and I haven't seen it since the theater, so I don't really remember, but I was kind of thinking that it was like that, like Cyborg and Wonder Woman and Aquaman had already jumped in, and then before Flash and Batman went in, Flash was like, I don't know what to do, I've never done this, like, but I can't remember. I have not watched that movie since the theater.
Yeah. I had actually forgotten about that scene, but you're right. That's a really good scene for Batman and Flash together.
Yeah. So that's the one thing I think that was like good.
Hmm.
Um,
The one thing out of the Whedon cut
the
that was
one thing out
actually,
of the Whedon cut that I was like, I wish that was still in there.
and that's not saying that there weren't other good scenes in the Whedon cut,
Right.
but all the good scenes except for that were in the Whedon cut are also in the Snyder cut, which
Yeah.
means they were all Snyder stuff. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
like the scene where Superman comes in for the first time, they all fight him just because that that was probably my favorite scene
I love
from
that
the
so
Whedon
much.
cut, and it was still in the Snyder cut, and I was like, oh yes,
Yeah.
it was a yes.
Yeah. That was Snyder.
It was slightly different too, and I think it was better
Mm.
in the Snyder cut because in
Yeah.
the Whedon cut, it was like Superman knew who he was and knew everything that was going on. He was just mad, so
Yeah.
he would beat everybody up, which was weird.
What,
And then
Superman
this
was
one,
like, sorry.
no, go ahead.
The when you said that he like knew who he was and stuff, yeah, in the Whedon part when like he's like fighting Batman, he does the whole "Do you bleed?" line. So it was like, yeah, he knows exactly. He I was like, well, if he remembers all this, like,
Yeah, it's
why is
like,
he still able? That like the point of him like attacking them and stuff is because he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know who he
yeah,
is. He doesn't start getting those memories back until he sees Lois.
mm-hmm. Yeah, which makes way more sense,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
Yeah.
because Superman is not the type of character to wake up super angry. Well, he might wake up super angry, but he's not gonna just take it out on the first people he sees.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it made more sense in the Snyder cut, and I'm really glad that uh, I still got chills rewatching it when Flash just runs past him, and then you just see Superman just slowly look over,
Yeah.
and
It's just
he's
like,
like slightly slower than
yeah.
Flash. It was just a nice touch.
Yeah. Flash's face. He's like, oh crap.
And because he's so inexperienced, it made complete
Yeah.
sense that he was like tripping and like falling all over the place
Yeah.
during that.
'Cause
Especially
he's-
since he had never been up against someone as superpowered.
Right.
Like,
He's just
before.
been like, oh, no one can see me when I do my super speed. You know,
Yeah.
he hasn't come up against any villains yet who can match him or anything. So it was like in that moment he was just like so like, what do I do? he could
Yeah.
keep up. It was great.
Yeah. And the Amazon scene where Steppenwolf first shows up is also just as good, if not better, in this one. It's been a hot second since I've seen the Whedon version, so like I can't really remember all that's changed, but I do remember really enjoying that scene too.
Yeah.
And I still enjoyed it in this one, but I feel like it was changed.
Yeah, I don't
know
what
where
exactly.
or not why, but where exactly it was changed, but I could just tell there were some differences, but I still really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really remember. Like, I liked that scene in the Whedon version. And I liked it again here. But I couldn't tell you what the differences were.
Right.
I'd have to, again, I have not seen the Whedon version since the theater. I bought the Steelbook, the Best Buy Steelbook exclusive when it came out on Blu-ray, but I never watched it.
Yeah.
So
It's not good enough to watch
Yeah.
a second.
I liked the cover to that Steelbook though, because it was like it was all drawn, so it was kind of a comic book
I
looking.
haven't seen it.
So
I don't think I've seen it.
well, I'll have to show it to you. I'll send you a picture or something.
I guess we should probably talk about Cyborg for sure, since he probably has the most additions and changes. Not really changes, just more.
Yeah. He actually has a story in this one.
Yeah.
He's not just there.
Yeah, we get like some flashbacks before while he was still like a football player in high school, I guess it was.
I can't
We get to
remember.
see how I don't think we in the Whedon cut we got to see how he got to the point where he needed to be turned into a cyborg.
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Up until that point, like we're not getting a whole lot from his dad either. We're just kind of like, oh, we know their relationship's not good, but then like that flashback scene's like the first time you get to see that his dad is that actually cares and he's like, oh, I lost my wife, I can't lose my son too. So then he does something super risky and uses the mother box to turn him into cyborg.
Yep. Yeah. So it's nice that they gave him a lot more story.
Yeah.
Because that, again, that's how it was originally intended. Because being built from the mother box, like, he was supposed to play a bigger part in this story, which just was not the case in the Whedon version. He was just there, and the one that had to pull him apart or whatever, but even he couldn't do it by himself. Superman had to, like, help him pull it apart. That was something else about the Whedon version. It was like nobody else mattered.
Yeah.
As soon as Superman showed up, Superman did everything.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, they were struggling, and Superman showed up, and then they won.
Yeah. Something that I loved that they did in this one was, yes, Superman comes, shows up, and then they're able to really fight Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
When Superman shows up.
But it's not all Superman.
It's not all Superman. It's not Superman who is the, stops everything at the end. It's somebody else. Which is so great. I love that moment so much.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, I still can't get over it. Oh my gosh. It's
so good. It's so good.
Because
and I need to talk about it. This is spoilers. It's fine. But earlier, when they bring Superman back, Flash talks about how when he goes a certain speed, it starts messing with time. And so when he is like running to hit the charge on the mother box to bring Superman back to life, he's too late.
Yeah.
It goes into the water. He's supposed to hit it right as it hits it. But the weird time stuff starts happening. Time starts backing up. And then he hits it at the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Fast forward later, he's gotta hit it at the right point, but he's too late. He's missed it. It's done. Bad guys win.
Yeah, because he got like shot or something, so he's like,
yeah, and he can't run. He's like, I gotta heal.
Yeah, and he had built up all this momentum, and now it's just gone. Yeah. And they need it now, and he's in pain. So there's you're just like, how are they supposed
to... they lost. It's too late.
Yep. And then just the mother boxes converge, everything happens, and then they just win, and you're like, wait, they win? What?
Yeah.
And then my favorite character comes in.
So good. Oh, yeah.
And the way it's shot, beautiful.
Yeah. Such a good moment.
Yeah.
And I love too that it was, of course, the bad guys don't win in it, but it was cool that they could do that because of Flash. It's kind of like a scapegoat in a way, but it was like
it doesn't feel nearly as cheap as Superman coming in and saving the day.
Exactly. And this is done in a way that, at least for me, was like so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was
Because
like
also,
he doesn't really know if he can. He doesn't have control
yeah,
of
he's not
it.
super. He's not super familiar with his abilities
Yeah,
yet.
this is a new Flash. He doesn't.
Also,
Yeah,
he also has like rules that he set. He's like, I'm not passing. I'm not going to make exceptions on these rules. Like he told the team that. Like,
yeah,
but then he's like, well, we lost, so like,
gotta try.
gotta try.
Yeah, so it was so good.
Yeah. So I think it could have been done in a way where it felt cheap, but I don't. But I feel like this was done.
Well,
So yes,
yeah,
and it's so much better. It's so much
so
better
much better.
because
Yeah.
like it actually felt like they were a team, you know,
Yeah,
and like each member did their part to stop them. If one of
right,
them wasn't there, they wouldn't have been successful. Instead
right.
of being like they just needed Superman.
Yeah, and that's the way the Whedon go was. They just need Superman.
But yeah,
Which,
if
you know, I get it. So especially the way Superman is, you know,
it's
it.
hard. It really is hard when you have a character like that
Yeah,
to um, make it to interesting and to have there still be stakes with a character who's basically a god.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Snyder was able to do it where Whedon couldn't, so
Yeah. I mean, and you know, Snyder is a big fan of Superman, so I think he understands the character better.
right.
And you know, not everybody likes Snyder's Superman. They like the Boy Scout purist type
The Captain
more.
America Superman.
Yeah, yeah. Which is fine, you know, but there is
But
that little
it's
bit darker
like
side
every
Superman too.
what did you say?
There is that darker side Superman that exists in comics too.
There's
But I feel like Zack
like that.
Snyder's version is somewhat of a mix.
Yeah, there's like that of pretty much every comic book character. Spider-Man has those too, like different characters. Just because like he's been around for so long, there's different iterations of the characters, and people will complain about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man because he's not like the comics. People will complain about Andrew Garfield's character because he's not like the comics. They'll complain about Tom Holland's character because he's not like the comics. And it's like,
Yeah.
well,
Which
that's
comics?
because there are different versions of him, and even the movie versions are different from the. So like,
Yeah.
pick one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I like the Superman that Zack Snyder has given us. I think Henry Cavill is perfect as Superman.
Yeah.
And he is also a Superman fan. Like,
Yes.
That the thing that probably made me the most angry about the Whedon version was no black suit Superman. Like when he came back, he was blue and red. You know, the iconic Superman suit. But because we knew beforehand that they were doing black suit Superman. That's what happened in the comics after Doomsday killed him and he came back. He wore the black suit with the white logo.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Cavill had posted like a close-up picture with like part of the S in white and then the black part of the black suit on his Instagram. And it was like something you knew he was excited for to bring to the screen, and then when it came out it wasn't there. And yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Jeez,
man, he posted it on his Instagram like he is genuinely like a Superman fan, I've seen him. He's got Action Comics #1 or whatever, like the one of the most expensive comics in the world. The first appearance
The
of
first
Superman.
Superman.
Henry Cavill owns that, you know? Like, he's a genuine Superman fan, and, like, he was excited to bring that, and then it was just not there, and that made me angry.
Yeah. I think the only time there was only one point in the Snyder cut where the black suit was like, and that was when I think it was like during the epilogue. He's like running down the street. Something happened, and you run down the street. You see him rip open his shirt,
Yeah.
and I don't know, having the black suit under there just didn't have the same impact on me as if it was the blue and red.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
but that's just kind of like a nitpicky.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a phase. He'll get the blue and red back at some point.
Yeah. It's not like the black suit's gonna be.
Yeah. But it was just like a thing that he did for a little while after coming back to life.
Yeah.
So.
The nightmare again. That was. It was cool. It was interesting. I feel like it was kind of in the wrong place, though, personally. Just because, like, everything's over, so, like, you're just kind of like, why do I need this? I think it would have been better either spread out sporadically throughout or earlier in the film instead of right at the end. Just because, not for any other reason, just then you know it's over, so you're like, why is this happening? Like, I feel like if it happened before the epilogue, it would have been fine. So that's really my only real complaint with it.
What did you think of the actual sequence, though?
Yeah. It makes me excited for a movie that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Unless the fans get their way, we can always hope. They've won once.
Yeah. Well, I also hope that if it is a movie, that like it doesn't just kind of like, this is a possibility that could happen, and then they like beat Darkseid before that happens. So like that's also useless. Then that will just be.
I don't know if that is. I mean, I know that the Batman v Superman one hinted at Darkseid because it had the Omega symbol and stuff.
Yeah, and Flash.
This one seemed. Yeah, so the Flash thing about telling him that Lois is the key, or whatever. When this movie first came out, I guess I was just like, oh, I guess it just to bringing Superman's memory back. But after this nightmare sequence, it seemed to me like they were hinting at the Injustice story.
I don't know much about the Injustice story.
Okay, so like the video game Injustice?
Yeah.
There was a comic book to it too. Do you want me to talk about that, or do you want to read it? You know? Okay, I'm gonna talk about it. Spoilers for Injustice if you have not read that comic book. Or I don't know how much story the actual game goes into or not, but I have the second one, but I've only played the first one, so I don't know. I don't have it, so I haven't played through the story. That's what I meant. Basically, the Joker, Superman has like a run-in with the Joker. Joker kills Lois. This causes Superman to go kind of crazy. Superman, in that he killed the Joker. And he's like furious at Batman for all the times that Batman never did anything to really stop the Joker. He's like, if you know that the Joker always gets free or always, whatever, why haven't you just killed him?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's basically an evil Superman story. Like, Superman decides, I'm going to fix all the crime in the world because I can. And he kind of becomes a tyrant. Basically, no one in the world can stop him.
Yeah.
So that's like the base of it. And so that, the way they were talking about it, like, oh, he's almost found us and stuff, and
just like
the Lois is the key thing that Flash was saying. I don't know. I was just I was reminded of that more so than Darkseid stuff in that Nightmare one. But I don't know.
Yeah. I'm still not completely sold on Jared Leto as the Joker yet. I mean, I'm glad he doesn't look like he did in Suicide Squad. And it does feel more like Jared Leto has, like, found his Joker than he did in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But in Suicide Squad, I was like, the script was just trash. So, like, I don't know how much of it was the script being trash and how much of it was direction and how much of it was Jared Leto. So I need to see something else before I can judge it. Now that I have seen something else, still about it.
Yeah, I liked the little bit of that one. I still can't, like, I still don't feel like I can really judge him as the Joker.
Just because it was so
little in Suicide Squad. It really is. He's so little in there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on all the advertisements. People were expecting a lot because of that. Yeah. But he's barely in it. He's barely in it.
Maybe 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, it's not much at all. But I know that they filmed a lot more. There's a lot of stuff that got cut there. Honestly, overall, I still blame that movie on the studio. Because from what I understand, David Ayer was trying to make a much darker film than that. Which makes sense because they're bad guys. But in the version that came out, they're the good guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're bad guys, but they're made to be the good guys of the story. You root for them.
But by the end, well, yeah, like, you're supposed to kind of root for them even though they're bad guys. But, like, the movie kind of just made them good guys.
Yeah. And it was my understanding that David Ayer was going to actually make them, like, terrible people. Like, they were straight up gonna be, like, murderers and rapists, and, like, they were going to be, they were going to say things that were not very nice to, like, they were going to be bad guys. And it was going to be a much more I don't know. That would make more sense as a film.
Right.
Like, I don't know. So, and then, like, they, even after, like, the studio made them change a lot of that stuff, even after they had shot everything, they, instead of a normal editor or whatever, they got the company that, like, edits the trailer.
Yeah, didn't they have, like, 2 editors? Like, the regular editor and then the editor who edits the trailer?
Yeah,
so they were, like, separate just vibes of the film, which just was strange.
Yeah, it was like you had a you decided to get the trailer editor to to edit the film.
Why?
I don't know. It confused me. There was a lot of drama with that, honestly, and the more that I heard about this stuff, I was like, no wonder it came out as garbage.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
But I do still believe that somewhere in that process, there was a good movie to be made.
At least decent.
Yeah.
Like,
because I haven't seen all of David Ayer's movies. I know that one he did for Netflix with Will Smith looked pretty terrible. Bright or whatever.
Yeah.
But End of Watch is really good.
I haven't seen End of Watch.
It's got Jake Gyllenhaal and what's his name? I can't remember that guy's name. He's in Ant-Man.
Oh, Michael Pena?
Yes, Michael Pena. Michael Pena and Jake Gyllenhaal as cops, and it's like kind of found footage, like realistic shot. It's a good movie. And I wanted to watch Fury, the like World War II tank one. That's him too. I haven't seen that one, but I wanted to see it. So I was like, after seeing End of Watch and seeing the trailer for Fury, I was like, this guy seems pretty good. Like, I would like to see what he wanted for Suicide Squad.
That's a 4-hour cut, director's cut that we
release the Ayer cut. But yeah, I digress. Back to Justice League.
Yeah. Also, when Martian Manhunter showed up, I lost my shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because Martian Manhunter and Flash are like my favorite Justice League characters.
Yeah.
Like when he showed up, I was like, oh yes.
Yeah.
And we're probably not gonna get a movie with him, and I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they should have saved his reveal for at the end. Like when they revealed him at that one scene halfway through or whatever. Yeah. It was like, oh cool, but then I feel like the bit at the end was a little bit more pointless, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it was still like really cool to see him, but it just felt like the bit at the end didn't have like a lot of weight to it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So they should have just stuck with one instead of having both.
Yeah. Or either, if you kept his reveal the way it was, have the end bit hold some more meaning. Yeah. I don't know, have Martian Manhunter reveal something that he knows or something. I don't know. Or take away that mid-reveal and just reveal him at the end.
Yeah.
One of those, I feel like. But.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I first saw him, I was like, oh. Yeah. The Flash scene, where he saves Iris West.
Oh yeah, that's a good scene.
That's a good scene. I'm not gonna lie. When he's right in front of her and she's flying through the air, and then he grabs the hot dog, I was like, "What are you doing, buddy?"
I was saying, yeah.
Where's this go? What are you doing? Come to find out, Barry Allen is just a pervert. Using his super speed for that.
Yep.
But it made sense by the end of that sequence. But when he first went for the, I was like, what? Calm down there, buddy. Calm down.
I have seen people kind of complain about that scene just because he saves her, and then it doesn't really go anywhere.
Right.
It didn't bother me just because I felt like it was just kind of like an introduction to his character.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it needed to go anywhere necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been nice to have like a scene with her later on, like in the epilogue or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't really feel like it really needed it.
Yeah. You got to think too. Of course, that scene wasn't in the Whedon cut, but originally Flash was slated for 2018, so it was going to be coming out the next year after Justice League.
Yeah.
It was Justice League 2017, and did Wonder Woman come out that year too? I think. Maybe.
I think so. Either that year or the year before.
Yeah, and then Flash and Aquaman were supposed to be the 2018.
Yeah, but then we just got
We just got Aquaman. Flash keeps getting postponed. I heard they were finally starting to actually make it.
That makes me a little nervous for it, because usually when stuff gets postponed like that, it's not good.
Yeah. But again, it was kind of like, I mean, everything got postponed except for Aquaman. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Just because of all that, I guess, with the film and whatnot. And,
Yeah.
Justice League was literally like the most expensive flop. Because Snyder filmed all this stuff, and then they were like, nah. And then they bring in Whedon and give him a bunch more money to film a bunch of different stuff.
They should.
So it ends up like twice as expensive.
Why they didn't just get Whedon? Because, like, the reason why Snyder walked away was really unfortunate.
Yeah.
I really don't understand why they didn't just have Whedon just finish Snyder's vision. Like,
yeah.
I mean, obviously it wouldn't be the same, but like, why didn't they just have him stick to the script that Snyder had?
Yeah, and I mean, most of it was already filmed.
Yeah.
Like, you really wouldn't
like,
have had to do that much. And that's, I think, where the issue comes in, of where it was more than just Snyder stepping away for a bit, and more of Warner Bros. Being like, no, we don't want you anymore. We want Marvel.
People don't want your stuff. There are people who do like your stuff, but they're not as vocal as the people who don't like your stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to get someone from Marvel to do it, and then we'll be more successful.
We're going to make a bunch of money.
And then they didn't.
Yeah, big flop.
So they spent even more money to give Snyder, which I'm happy with.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm glad it worked out.
And it seems most of the fans are pretty happy with it.
Imagine if it didn't work out, how stupid the Warner Bros. Executives would feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of just giving Whedon, it could have all just been fixed. If they just let Whedon, if they just made sure that Whedon stayed with.
Yeah, like,
it worked out so
the
far.
movie's mostly done. This happened. He's got to step away. Like, we just need someone to come in and just finish it up. Like, just shoot the last few scenes. Yeah. But it was very much, no, we want you to rework this movie. Okay, you know how you did that Avengers movie? Okay, well, Justice League is our Avengers, and we need you to do that.
Just make it kind of like the Avengers, but kind of not, you know?
Yeah.
more like the Avengers than DC, but not as Avengers as Avengers.
Yeah, that'll
so
work.
Just find that sweet spot. Something that'll make us money, so don't work too hard.
Yeah. Yep. Worked out great.
Well, they had Willem Dafoe in this one, which was cool. That probably wouldn't have happened if they had gotten to do this before Aquaman, because I don't think.
I don't know. I was
But
wondering. I honestly think that most of the Aquaman stuff was filmed before, because I feel like that is the parts that don't match up with continuity as well. Like all the Aquaman stuff feels different than the Aquaman
yeah,
movie that we got.
true.
Like Willem Dafoe doesn't look like he looks in Aquaman. He's got long hair in this and stuff, and then they're doing the air bubble thing, and they're not talking underwater. Like it feels completely different from from the Aquaman movie.
That is true. I hadn't thought about that.
So and I know the little bit of Aquaman and Mera that we got in the Whedon version, they did the air bubble thing. And so I remember thinking like, oh, I guess that's how they're gonna do it in Aquaman, because I don't know, there was a lot of talk, and like Momoa was talking about how they were doing a lot of real swimming and stuff, and they were doing a lot of actual underwater filming. So I was like, I guess they're just gonna do the air bubble thing for all the talk scenes if they're actually filming everything underwater.
Yeah.
So I think at some point there they changed how they went about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I
that's why I
think
feel like most of that stuff was filmed
it
before.
didn't. Maybe not. Wasn't there a in the Aquaman movie? Didn't Atlanteans, except for uh, Arthur, all die if they didn't have like specific stuff
Yeah,
to
it
go
was
out
like
for?
royal blood could breathe air as well as water, but not normal
Right.
Atlanteans.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like
So that makes
Mira
for me
and
Willem
Willem
Dafoe.
Dafoe, yeah, they could breathe air, but also water. So for them just talking to each other, it didn't. In the context of Aquaman, it doesn't make sense for them to make an air bubble unless they're hiding from like that one point when they were in that air pocket
Yeah.
to try to avoid attention. But yeah, so it just I just feel like the the Atlantean stuff in Justice League was the most inconsistent with the continuity from Aquaman.
Yeah. So maybe it was all there before then. I was still just not expecting Willem Dafoe to be in it.
Hmm.
Either way.
Yeah. But
So
yeah, I
that was
was
kind of
wondering that because he had that long hair and just he didn't really look the same. And I mean, like they all had different costumes. Of
yeah.
course, Aquaman didn't get his Aquaman costume yet, but like Mira's costume was very different than it is in Aquaman in this one, and not as bright and stuff. But so
Well,
I was thinking that
part of that
maybe it
might
was.
be due to the way Snyder likes to desaturate everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's part of that. I don't know
I don't know.
how
It just
how
it didn't seem as green, like like it seemed a little green, but like the armor pieces and stuff seemed different. I don't know. I'd have to look at it again, but
yeah
it seemed quite a bit different to me.
yeah.
But but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they
I,
filmed that stuff before, but that's just what I was thinking.
still interesting.
Yeah. I was still like waiting for Green Lantern to show up.
Yeah.
Um early promotional stuff for the film was all like unite the seven. And they all said unite the seven, unite the seven. And so there was a lot of speculation about who the seventh Justice League member was going to be. it's gonna be Green Lantern. It's probably gonna be Green Lantern. That makes the most sense. So I mean, at least in this, I guess the a seventh showed up, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
But like he still didn't like. I don't know. It was at the very end, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like it was gonna be a thing to be bringing all seven together. And then I remember thinking this even in the theater watching the Whedon version, because Unite the Seven, and then that battle that happened in the past, and there's that Green Lantern there, and like he dies and the ring flies off to find its next person, and I was like, oh man, yeah, we're getting a Green Lantern in this film. It's happening. Didn't happen.
And then it happened again in this film, and still no Green
And
Lantern.
still no Green Lantern. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
I do want a good Green Lantern movie.
Yeah.
And I want it with Jon Stewart this time. Personally, I prefer Jon Stewart.
Yeah, I think that was the plan. I mean, all the DC movies have been like, thrown out basically at this point. But like initially when they had released that timeline of Justice League Part 1, 2017, Aquaman and Flash, 2018, Justice League Part 2, supposed to be 2019, and Shazam maybe too. Shazam in there somewhere.
Black Adam?
Black Adam was supposed to be in there too. Yeah, they're finally, I think, starting on that one as well.
Heard that too.
That one has been... The Rock has been in talks to play Black Adam for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Not quite that long, but a long time. And then 2020 was supposed to be Cyborg and Green Lantern. And the guy who was in talks to play Green Lantern was going to be... It was going to be the Jon Stewart Green Lantern. But then, like, all that... I mean, a couple of them happened, but all the rest has just been scratched.
I still haven't seen Shazam. I went on HBO Max to go watch it the other day, but they've taken it off then, so I was like, waited too long.
It's another one that's a little more lighthearted. It's enjoyable. It's fun.
That's what I've heard, and it looks fun.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I would like to see a Jon Stewart Green Lantern. I haven't read real far into the DC Rebirth, but I forget their names. But there's 2 Green Lanterns in... Let's see, they've got a couple of Green Lantern lines in that comic series. But I think it's just called Green Lanterns. Or maybe it's just Green Lantern, and then there's a Hal Jordan Green Lantern separate line. But the Green Lantern line has 2 Green Lanterns, and I thought both of those characters were really interesting. I'd like to see them on the screen at some point too. But I probably need to read further into that.
Yeah.
I was getting those for a while.
I got first volume, I guess, of Rebirth. It's like this little book about that thick, and it's just got a bunch of, I guess, the first comics of pretty much every major character. I haven't read it yet, though. Had it before, haven't read it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was reading when I was still down there. I was buying them from the comic shop all the time, so I was keeping up with a few of them for a while. And then when I moved up here and wasn't getting them anymore, I was borrowing the volumes. it was only like volumes of one line. So it'd be like 6 issues of Green Lantern or 6 issues of Batman in one volume. And so I was getting those and catching up. But I have since not kept up with it.
Yeah.
But I was really enjoying the Green Lantern bit with the 2 Green Lanterns, and I can't remember their names, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I would definitely. Oh, excuse me. I would definitely really like to see Green Lanterns on the big screen again.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I remember the first time I watched the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds. I was like, I mean, this isn't that bad. I mean, it's like all the other superhero movies from the early 2000s. And then I saw what year it was released. I was like, oh, this came out in like 2013. That's why. I didn't realize what year it came out. I watched it thinking it was from like 2004 or something. I was like, I mean, it's about on par with the rest of it.
Yeah, it's about the same as every other early 2000s superhero movie, except it wasn't early 2000s.
Yeah, it's about 10 years behind.
This was like after the Avengers had come out, so like
Yeah.
superhero movies had taken quite a turn on how they were done then.
Yeah.
But it was just made as if it was early 2000s.
Yeah. Yep. I'd like to see well, I'm excited for that Robert Pattinson Batman.
Yeah.
But I would also like to see like a middle Batman. I feel like we always get like Batman at the beginning or Batman at the end, like older Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see a good Batman where like he's got you know, Dick Grayson as Robin, still like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like
the Nolan Batmans were kind of middle, but Robin doesn't come in until Dark Knight Rises, and even then, that's like
set up a movie that never happened.
Yeah.
I was excited for that. I was like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Robin? Let's go. Let's go. It never happened.
Was that supposed to be a movie? Because I felt like I thought Dark Knight
the way they left it, it seemed like it was they were like leaving it to where he was gonna take over, like take Batman's spot. So, I mean, I don't know if they ever intended or if it was just meant to end like that, but I was like, oh, sweet, like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Robin, and then nothing else.
Yeah, and then we got Batfleck.
Yeah. Which Batfleck is good. I like Batfleck a lot. I like Affleck as Batman more than I like Christian Bale as Batman.
I feel like I don't know, I feel like we haven't gotten enough Batman since Batfleck for me to really, because we've only had Batman v Superman and then Justice League.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish you would have done more.
Yeah.
But I'm not the biggest fan of Christian Bale as Batman.
Yeah. I like him okay.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people who it's like that's their definitive Batman. I'm like, what?
I feel like I like Michael
Keaton.
Keaton. I like him a lot as Batman.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel like George Clooney could have made a good Bruce Wayne in a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know about Batman, but at least a good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer would be a good Batman with a better movie.
Yeah, I thought he was a good Batman. I just thought it wasn't that great of a like. They just didn't do much.
Yeah.
But I was like, I mean, he fit that part for me. I was like, okay, yeah.
That Affleck, I had to kind of get around a little bit, but I like him. I just wish we got more. And then Robert Pattinson seems like he will be a good Batman.
I think he will be. So many people are just like, oh, for real, the Twilight guy, the sparkly vampire. But you gotta watch him in a real movie.
Have you seen any movies with him since then? Also, like, I haven't seen them, but I've seen like scenes.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the best actor in Twilight.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell he's too good for those roles.
Yeah. And, for a long time I hadn't seen him in anything. But watch The Lighthouse and watch Good Time. And then come back and tell me that he's just a sparkly vampire who can't act, and I'll punch you in the goddamn mouth.
Yeah. No, he's definitely a really good actor.
Yeah.
And he hated Twilight. He hated being him. He hated the writing.
Yeah.
He was right there along with us with Twilight.
Yeah.
It was paying his bills, so like.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. And thank goodness he is getting out of those. Because I think after Twilight, he was like, I'm just doing indie stuff. I'm just doing stuff that I enjoy.
Yeah, and
like Twilight just got his foot in the door.
Yeah,
and he knew that mainstream audiences would see him as that, so that's why he stuck to indie stuff, which I think was a good call on his part.
Yeah, because now he can showcase his acting, but still, like, a lot of the mainstream just still views him as the sparkly vampire.
Yeah,
and I think, I'm hoping anyway, Batman will be his way out of that.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that he's gonna come out hard hitting. He's gonna be awesome as Batman, and people are gonna be like, "Oh,
he's actually
a
serious actor." Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there'll still be those people who'll be like,
"Yeah,
nah," just because you're not gonna please everybody. But like,
right.
Hopefully, those aren't the vocal people. Hopefully, the vocal people will actually enjoy his performance.
Yeah, but I'm hopeful that the Batman will be like really good, and he'll be known for that instead of Twilight.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've talked about a lot of stuff other than Justice League, but
it's mostly DC stuff, so who cares?
Talked a lot of DC stuff. I'm a fan of DC.
Yeah.
I don't like all the movies, but I tend to enjoy them more than most people.
Yeah. I do need to mention, I forgot to mention, I watched Watchmen the other day, which is another Snyder film, for those who don't know. And I noticed kind of like a theme between the two. Snyder really likes having really like slow pacing, because Watchmen, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I really liked Watchmen a lot better than most people, because I've heard a lot of people trash on it, and
they're all wrong.
I enjoyed it as much as the Justice League cut. But with both of them, I was like, oh, this pacing, dude. Uh, which I feel like is a little bit worse for Watchmen since it's only like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So it's just like, why is this?
Oh, that's
Why?
probably just the theatrical cut, huh?
Mm.
I have
But then,
there's a director's cut that's longer.
ooh,
Yeah. I want to say it's at least 3 hours. Maybe more.
gotcha.
Let me look. I'll look it up and I'll tell you.
But then with this one, like when you're feeling it, you're just like, well, it's 4 hours, so like,
Yeah.
But yeah. So like, I haven't seen 300 in a while, but I don't remember 300 having a trash pacing.
Nah. So the
Man
director's
of
cut
Steel.
of Watchmen is 3 hours and 35 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the one I watched was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then Man of Steel also didn't have terrible pacing, at least as far as I remember.
See, I was gonna say, like, I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel it. I don't feel that so much for me. Like it doesn't. I don't know. Like I know that they're slower paced, but I don't like. It doesn't feel like it's dragging for me. But I was going to say, I was like, Man of Steel is probably where I feel the slow pacing the most.
Well, also I haven't seen Man of Steel in years, so like I don't really remember pacing.
Yeah, it's been a couple years for me too.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I can kind of remember it having slower pacing. Because I do remember thinking like, man, it takes a while for Superman to be Superman.
Yeah. Man of Steel is probably one of my least favorite Zack Snyder films that I've seen. I haven't seen all of his movies, but
yeah,
I love 300. I love Watchmen. Dare I say it, I love Batman v Superman too.
I feel like that one probably has a lot of Batman v Superman has a lot of nitpicky stuff in it.
Yeah.
There's
Most
a lot
people can't get past the Martha thing.
Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the weaker things about it. It's not. I don't think it's necessarily as bad as people say it is.
Yeah,
But it is.
People simplify it to make it sound worse.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I get where that confusion happens, and that they think it's dumb.
Yeah.
And maybe it could have been articulated better.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like,
but it's certainly not dumb.
Yeah, it could have been done better, but it's not as bad as people say. Because yeah, they take it on its surface level.
Yeah, they take it as like, oh, he just stops because they have the same. Your mom has the same name as my mom. Ha! Yeah. My mom's dead. Yeah, when really it's deeper than that. It's when Superman says you're letting them kill Martha, Batman realizes that he thinks that he has maybe become the
thing he's been trying to stop.
The thing he's been trying to stop. The person who killed his mother. It's like I can't. I'm too tired. It's like 3 a.m. I'm too tired to explain all of that, but it's deeper than your mom has the same name as my mom.
Right.
So yeah, if that's as deep as it goes, you're probably just stupid, and maybe you shouldn't watch better movies. Just stick to your Michael Bay and your Marvel.
Oh, I mean, Batman v Superman isn't without its problems, but it's
Yeah,
better than
that's
people give it credit for.
yeah, and it the the director's cut of that flows better. Then that was my biggest complaint when it came out of the theater was I was like it felt a little crammed. Not that it was too long, but that it felt too crammed. I was like, I feel like it needed to be a little longer because it felt a little too crammed. I think the theatrical is like 2.5 hours, and the director's cut I think is 3. So, so when I got it on Blu-ray, I watched the director's cut, and I was like, that felt better. I still wasn't crazy about it then, but I watched it again, and then I was like, I think I actually kind of really like this. Now I've liked Batman v Superman more every time I've watched it. Like I started out just being kind of to I really like the film now.
But yeah, I think Snyder, personally for me, and from what I've heard, other people has like his pacing can get on people's nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because he takes his time with things, but I feel like he takes his time. Sometimes he can take his time too long on certain things and that aren't as important. But that's also just a personal preference.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel too like, because I feel like he's kind of, he has a lot of haters, for sure. Like, but I feel like he has a lot of haters on like both sides of the spectrum of film, like mainstream and artistic type.
Yeah.
And I don't know, sometimes I feel like he's like he fits somewhere in between because his stuff is very artistic and stylized.
Yeah.
But a lot of his
Very
movies come out in the mainstream. And so sometimes I kind of feel like he's a little too mainstream for the artsy people and a little too artsy for the mainstream people. But that's just me.
Yeah, I can see that because like mainstream people aren't used to seeing like very stylized stuff.
Yeah.
So when you see something that's stylized, they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
What's
and I feel like that's why the slow-mo gets on their nerves. They're like, oh, more of this.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in Justice League it was just a little too much because it was like someone calculated it was like 10% of the film, which doesn't sound like much until you realize it's 4 hours long. So that means 25-ish minutes were in slow mo. So it's like, oh,
yeah. It's decent,
I feel like there was just a little too much in Justice League. In other things like Watchmen and 300, I felt like it was perfectly fine. I didn't have a problem with it. It's just in Justice League, I felt like there was a little too much.
Yeah. And two, I keep going back, but like again, I don't think it would have been that much if this was the theatrical. But I just feel like they felt like they just had to give us all the footage.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how much it would have been. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
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 Yeah.
Who's your favorite character in Watchmen?
Rorschach.
I love Rorschach.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
I did. Is that where that comes from? Because I heard that everywhere and did not realize that was from Watchmen.
I've quoted it quite a few times. That's the only place I've ever heard it.
That's probably where I've heard it from. Is
Yeah,
from you.
I love Rorschach. Men get arrested, dogs get put down.
Yeah, he's.
I don't know what's in the director's cut and what's in the normal cut, so I hope you saw these scenes.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
those are both in the theatrical.
Gotcha.
So, in conclusion, I feel like it was definitely enjoyable. I'm really glad Snyder got to release his full vision. The characters were better. The story as a whole was better. The ending was leagues better. But like I said, the pacing was weird for me. I felt like there was a little too much slow-mo. I feel like they could have cut it by 25-30 minutes and still had the same thing. So I give it a 7 out of 10.
Nice. I liked it a lot. It's leaps and bounds better than the theatrical cut. I am a fan of Zack Snyder. I am a fan of the DC. So, if you don't like DC movies or you don't like Zack Snyder movies, then stay away from it. You're gonna hate this movie.
Yeah. It would just be a waste of your 4 hours.
Yeah. Which, if you don't like them, you're probably gonna stay away from it anyway, unless you just like to bitch. I don't know. But if you do like Zack Snyder or DC, like, you should have a great time with this. Yeah, there's a lot more character development in it. A lot more things just make more sense, and it's just a good time.
Yeah.
I give this an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting this far. Please like on the video and maybe share it somewhere or comment. Tell us how dumb we are and what your opinion is. Get mad at us.
Catch you in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.